Why do we find ourselves sometimes getting into relationships and we're on repeat? These relationships keep triggering us. So after the honeymoon phase or period begins to dwindle, it's called the limerence phase of relating, of being in love. Right? Once that starts to dwindle and the hormones begin to settle, have you ever found that you've had those relationships that really trigger you? They're just these explosive relationships. Why is that? And have you found that you keep repeating those types of relationships? Well, let me go a little deeper for you. That's unresolved wounding. Why do we attract partners, romantic partners, and even friendships, close friendships that really trigger us and bring up uncomfortable feelings within us? Well, the reason is so that that part of us that's wounded, that's hurting, we haven't resolved, so we can heal it. We can heal those parts of us that need love, that need attention. Maybe when you grew up as a child, you didn't have that love. You didn't receive that love from your parents. You know, the most important relationship and our first big relationship that we have outside of that with ourselves is that with our primary caregivers, that with our mother, our father, our parents. Those that we look up to, those that we often deify and that often fall from grace. Why? Because they're human, because we are human and we're not perfect. But maybe you develop this idea that you have to be perfect, and in order to be perfect, you have to be a high achiever. You have to be the best at any cost to impress your father, to impress your mother, to seek their validation. That becomes a wound because you're seeking love outside of yourself. You're seeking approval, worthiness outside of yourself. And that becomes an issue because we can't control what's outside of ourselves. So we attract these people in our lives to help us heal, to do something different, to behave in a way that we haven't before, to not reverse that wound, but to change and shift our relationship to it. What does that look like? It looks like this. Awareness is key. We have to be aware of our wounds, of what we are yearning for. We have to look at our patterns, the patterns in our lives. Yes, having external help, perspectives, support, psychologists, counselors, shamans, spiritual healers, having people, a network of support in our lives can help us see our shortcomings, can help us see where we're really in pain because we often can't see it. The ego doesn't really like to admit that it's in pain or that we are wrong or that we need something to heal. But we attract these situations and these people and these relationship dynamics and types to help us heal, to help us equilibrate those old wounds so that we can just relate differently to them, so that we're not pushing people away and isolating ourselves when life becomes challenging and difficult. And so when you see yourself actually, when you see that little boy or girl within your partner, you begin to soften. You begin to ask yourself, well, can I do this differently? Can I be different? Can I behave in a way that isn't on a repeated pattern? Because the brain just thrives in familiarity and it feels safe in familiarity. Our bodies feel safe in familiarity, even if the familiar pattern or behavior isn't conducive to a healthy relationship. But we keep repeating it because we want to heal it. Parts of us want to heal that and move on and evolve and grow. And so when you find yourself in those constant arguments or friction points or tensions and the same type of argument and same type of disagreement and pain that you're experiencing with other people and you're the common denominator, well, you just get to know, oh, this is something here so I can heal it. And if I behave differently with this, if I interact differently with this, maybe in a more loving, compassionate, open-minded, open-hearted way, maybe if I see myself in that other person, I soften and I'm able to not react, be reactive, be angry, be aggressive, or do what I've always done, maybe push people away or become hyper needy, which then has them push us away. Maybe I get to flip the script on this, shift the paradigm and change my life. Power and blessings. I'll see you soon.